Hi there, travel lovers. This is your trusted cruise and Tauck tour expert, Shawn Power here. Today I'm going to do what's hopefully a short video, but I just want to answer a question that I get a lot, and maybe it's going to break some myths that some of you may have. So the question I get a lot from people is, does it cost to work with a travel agent? How does a travel agent get paid? So basically, they're just wondering if they book with a travel agent versus booking directly with a cruise line or with Tauck. Are they going to pay more money than working with me, or whatever travel agent you're looking to work with? It seems to be a very common question. So the simple answer is absolutely not. In my case, maybe some travel agencies do things different, but here's how I do it, and it's certainly how a lot of my colleagues do it, and I think this is pretty much the norm. So what a lot of people don't realize is that when you book a cruise or when you book a Tauck tour or similar trip. Now, let's not talk airlines and that kind of thing because they changed this, many years ago. But for cruises and Tauck tours, which is the only thing that I book, and they are kind of popular things that people book with travel agents, land tours with different companies, cruise lines, that kind of thing. The price of the commission that the travel agent gets paid is already in the price of your cruise or your Tauck tour. So even if you go and you book directly, you're not going to save any money. So people think you're going to save money by going direct. That's not true because we're not charging you extra. It's already in the price. So basically, if you go direct, two things are going to happen. Number one is you're not going to get what you're paying for. So you're already paying to work with a travel agent. So why not work with one? Because if you go direct, you're going to pay the same price. Now, why is that an advantage or disadvantage? Well, for one, if you go to a cruise line directly, you're going to get very biased information. So let's say you go to Regent or Oceania or Celebrity or Princess or whoever. All they can tell you is what they're allowed to tell you. These people are call takers. They have scripts they have to follow. They're only allowed to sell you their cruise line. They're only allowed to sell you their insurance, their airfare, their hotels. They're going to tell you that everything is wonderful. Now, if you come to a travel agent like myself, who's been on almost 100 cruises, I've booked almost $100 million worth of travel. I've got a lot of experience, so I can say, yes, that's a good cruise line to cruise with, or no, it's not, or maybe you can get a better deal elsewhere, or maybe you won't. And even if I tell you it's a great cruise line to book with, I'm almost absolutely for sure going to tell you don't book your airfare with them, don't book hotels with them, because you're going to overpay for those things. So again, you call them, super biased information. You call a travel agent like myself or your own travel agent, you're going to get impartial information because they're going to tell you about all the different options. And guess what? Again, you're paying for it either way. So again, the myth is that people think they're going to pay to work with someone like me, but they're not. There's no extra fees. It's already built in. And then another quick thing which people don't realize, it actually usually ends up being a better deal. Reason being is people like myself and the agency. So I own my own business, but then I'm affiliated with a much bigger, travel agency who has like 2,500 of my colleagues. We're all together. Reason being, because the bigger we are, the more buying power we have. And then our agency is part of literally another one that has billions of dollars worth of business. So the point is we have access to perks that you'll never get when you're booking direct. So for example, with some of the cruise lines, I can get onboard credit, which sometimes could be hundreds of dollars for my clients. With Tauck, a lot of times I can get a free hotel night before the trip starts. Sometimes the cruise lines even come to companies, like myself, who do a lot of business, and they'll give us exclusive, maybe last minute deals that we can't even publish. We can't put them on the internet, we can't rate about them, we can't advertise them, but they want us to go to our clients and try to sell them. They do that because they don't want to advertise that their prices have dropped, because if so, everyone who's already booked is going to be a little frustrated. They're going to want their prices lowered, so they come to us and they get us to try to market those last minute trips to our own clients, because we all have databases. Now, if these aren't necessarily a week out, I've had these for 3, 4, 5, 6 months out, and some of them are significant. Could only be 10 or 20% off, but I've had promos as high as 50 or 60% off. So again, let's go back to the original question. How do travel agents get paid? Is it going to cost me to work with a travel agent? Again, absolutely not. The price to work with me or whatever travel agent you work with is already built into your cruise or Tauck tour. You're never going to pay less by going direct, and you're actually always going to get some extra better deal by going with an agent due to our buying power. And then let's just say the situation ever happens where, actually here, I'll get into this in one second. So let me just give you an example that maybe outside of the travel agency, I believe mortgage brokers or something like this. So again, like you might get a mortgage rate from, I don't know, whatever one of the biggest banks is that you can think of. So maybe I have no idea what a mortgage rate is these days, but let's say it's 5%. And maybe you go to a mortgage broker and you get a slightly better deal because they have a lot of volume, a lot of buying power. Maybe it's 4.5 or 4.75 or whatever, but they're not charging on top of it. Their commission is built into it. So again, that's the same kind of idea when you look at travel agents. So hopefully that kind of sums it up. And then one last thing, let's say you ever have a situation where, you know, you're working with a travel agent and they give you a price, and then you call a cruise line or Tauck, and for whatever reason their price is less. Definitely go back to the travel agent and let them know that, because something's not matching. It's not apples to apples. You know, you're not looking at the same room or the same date, or something is off, because again, it actually breaks our contracts with the cruise lines and with Tauck for them to charge less. And if for some weird reason they ever do have a better deal that we just can't book, you can actually book it through them and just move it to your travel agent, because then again, you'll also get the travel agent's extra perk. So like I said, you're never going to pay more to work with a travel agent. It's always going to be the best deal. You're going to get unbiased information. You're going to get some extra perk that you can't with the cruise line or Tauck directly. And again, you're paying to work with that person anyway, so you might as well. All right, any questions, leave a comment below. Go to my website, send me a question through my contact form. I'll be happy to help you out. Beyond that, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.